Welcome to our channel, where we explore topics relevant to your personal growth and well-being. Today, let's dive into some deep reflection on the importance of finding the balance between being kind and assertive in our interactions and relationships. Throughout this video, we will explore how Stoic philosophy can offer us valuable insights into how to cultivate this harmony between generosity and self-defense, compassion and assertiveness. Before we begin, I would like to invite you to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future content. When you sign up, you are part of a community dedicated to personal growth and developing skills for a fuller, more meaningful life. Additionally, I ask that you take a moment to stay until the end of this video. The content we will share will be essential for anyone looking to improve their relationship skills and find greater balance in their daily lives. Therefore, I guarantee it will be an enriching journey full of valuable insights. So, without further ado, let's embark on this journey of self-discovery and growth together. I'm excited to share this content with you, and I'm sure we'll come away from this video with a new perspective on how to navigate the complexities of human relationships with wisdom and understanding. Number 1. Line between goodness and excess. Being good is an incredibly rewarding experience and brings a feeling of well-being when performing altruistic actions. However, it is crucial not to cross the line between being good and being excessively good. When you cross this line, you can end up forgetting to take care of yourself, which can lead to emotional and physical exhaustion. Furthermore, extreme generosity can cause other people to begin abusing your kindness, exploiting your altruistic actions for their own benefit without regard for your well-being. It is essential to learn to set clear boundaries to protect yourself from such abuse and ensure that your kindness does not turn into a weakness that others can exploit. Number 2. Establish limits. Helping others and being polite are valuable attitudes that can strengthen relationships and create a harmonious environment. However, it is essential to balance these actions with the need to take care of yourself. Consistently putting the interests of others above one's own can lead to burnout and neglect of one's own needs and priorities. Saying no when necessary is an essential skill to maintain this balance. Knowing how to refuse requests for help or commitments that compromise your well-being or your personal obligations allows you to preserve your energy and focus. This ability to set limits is vital to prevent generosity from becoming a burden and to ensure that you continue to be a positive and sustainable presence in the lives of others. Additionally, by setting clear boundaries, you teach others to respect your needs and create an environment where their contributions are valued without being exploited. Number 3. Emotional dependence. Accepting all commitments and not knowing how to say no can create a harmful pattern of behavior where the person becomes excessively dependent on the approval and validation of others. This habit can lead to a constant feeling of emotional and physical exhaustion, as your own needs are often neglected in favor of satisfying the demands of others. The continuous effort to please everyone can result in high levels of stress, anxiety, and even health problems, such as insomnia, chronic fatigue, and cardiovascular problems. Furthermore, this emotional dependence can cause the person to lose their sense of identity and autonomy, feeling constantly overwhelmed and unable to make independent decisions. This can also generate resentment and frustration, as the lack of reciprocity in relationships can be emotionally devastating. In short, the inability to set limits and say no when necessary can lead to a vicious cycle of self-effacement and personal dissatisfaction, profoundly affecting quality of life and emotional well-being. Number 4. Excessive generosity. Being overly generous, although often seen as a virtue, can be interpreted as a weakness by less scrupulous people. These people may take advantage of your kindness, manipulating you to serve their own interests without offering due reciprocity. When you give yourself too much without setting clear limits, you run the risk of being constantly asked for favors, tasks, and responsibilities that go beyond what is reasonable or healthy. This exploration can not only deplete your emotional and physical resources, but also create an imbalance in your relationships where you feel like you're always giving and rarely receiving. This can lead to a feeling of frustration and resentment as your needs and well-being are neglected. Setting limits is essential to protect yourself from being exploited. Defining how far you are willing to go to help others and learning to assertively say no are essential skills. These boundaries not only protect you from abuse, but they also teach others to value and respect your time and effort. Plus, by setting boundaries, you create space to take better care of yourself, ensuring that your generosity doesn't come at the expense of your own well-being. Ultimately, being generous is an admirable quality, but it must be balanced with a sense of self-preservation and self-respect to maintain healthy, mutually beneficial relationships. Number 5. Toxic kindness. Being kind and attentive is, without a doubt, an admirable quality. However, when this kindness becomes constant, without considering your own needs and limits, it can turn into toxic kindness. This attitude can lead to self-forgetfulness, as the person is always focused on pleasing and helping others, neglecting their own priorities and well-being. Excessive kindness can create unrealistic expectations of reciprocity. When someone is constantly there for others, they may begin to expect those acts of kindness to be reciprocated in kind. Unfortunately, this reciprocity does not always happen, which can generate feelings of frustration, disappointment, and even resentment. The lack of recognition or return for one's efforts can be emotionally devastating, making a person feel like their kind gestures are undervalued or ignored. Furthermore, this dynamic can lead to a vicious cycle where the person continues to be overly nice in hopes of eventually receiving the validation and reciprocity they desire. This can result in significant emotional distress as the person continually struggles to maintain a standard of kindness that is unsustainable in the long term. Toxic kindness can also affect physical and mental health, causing stress, anxiety, and even depression. The constant pressure to meet the needs of others can prevent a person from dedicating themselves to self-care and the pursuit of their own goals and happiness. To avoid the negative effects of toxic kindness, it is essential to learn to set healthy boundaries and recognize the importance of prioritizing yourself. This means being kind and available, but also knowing when you need to step back and take care of yourself. It is essential to understand that it is possible to be a kind and generous person without sacrificing your own well-being. Finding this balance allows kindness to be a source of joy and satisfaction rather than a cause of frustration and burnout. Number 6. Good boy syndrome. Good boy syndrome is characterized by excessively kind and accommodating behavior, where the person constantly sacrifices their own interests, desires, and needs to please others. This attitude may seem positive at first glance, but it often leads to unbalanced dynamics in relationships, both personal and professional. Individuals who suffer from this syndrome tend to avoid conflict at all costs. They suppress their opinions and feelings to maintain harmony, which can result in a lack of authenticity and true communication in relationships. This avoidance of conflict can cause a buildup of negative emotions, such as frustration and resentment, which can eventually explode in harmful ways. The constant need to please can make these people take on excessive responsibilities and overburden themselves with the demands of others. They often put themselves in the background, accepting tasks and commitments that are not reasonable or fair, which can lead to emotional and physical exhaustion. This continual self-effacement can result in a sense of loss of identity, where the person feels that their own existence and worth depend on their ability to satisfy others. Furthermore, good boy syndrome can create a dynamic of emotional dependence in the relationship. The person may constantly seek validation and approval from others, feeling incomplete or insecure without this positive feedback. This can lead to an unbalanced relationship, where one partner takes a dominant role and the other becomes submissive, often to the detriment of their own happiness and well-being. This syndrome can also affect a person's mental and physical health. The constant stress of trying to please everyone can cause anxiety, depression, and other stress-related health problems. Lack of time for oneself and activities that promote personal well-being can result in a significantly reduced quality of life. To overcome good boy syndrome, it is essential to develop assertiveness and self-knowledge skills. Learning to set healthy boundaries and say no when necessary is crucial. It is important to recognize that it is impossible to please everyone, and that your own happiness and well-being must be priorities. Seeking professional support, such as therapy, can be beneficial for developing coping strategies and building a more balanced and autonomous self-image. In short, good boy syndrome is a pattern of behavior that can have significant negative consequences. Recognizing and addressing this syndrome is essential to creating more balanced and satisfying relationships where kindness and kindness are balanced with self-respect and self-worth. Number 7. Negative consequences. Good boy behavior can have a number of profound and lasting negative consequences for both the person and their relationships. Firstly, this constant need to please can generate resentment. When an individual consistently puts the wants and needs of others above their own, they may begin to feel that their efforts are not appreciated or adequately reciprocated. This feeling of being undervalued can grow over time, turning into bitterness that can erode relationships. Frustration is another common consequence. The good kid often finds himself in situations where his needs are not met because he is constantly sacrificing himself for others. This frustration can build up, leading to emotional outbursts or a constant state of unhappiness and dissatisfaction. Loss of identity is a particularly insidious consequence. By focusing so intensely on pleasing others, a person can begin to lose touch with who they really are, what they value, and what they want in life. This deviation from self-knowledge can lead to a feeling of emptiness and confusion, where the person can no longer distinguish between their own desires and those of others. Emotional dependence is a consequence that frequently arises. The good kid can become dependent on external validation to feel good about themselves. This constant need for approval can lead to a lack of emotional autonomy, where the person feels unable to assert themselves without positive feedback from others. This can result in emotional vulnerability, where the person feels at the mercy of the opinions and feelings of others. Lack of communication is another significant consequence. Fear of causing conflict can lead the good kid to suppress his or her own opinions and feelings, resulting in superficial and ineffective communication. This can impede problem-solving and make it difficult to create a true, honest connection in relationships. The absence of open and sincere communication can create misunderstandings, increase tension, and undermine mutual trust. Furthermore, this dynamic can negatively affect the good kid's mental and physical health. The constant stress of trying to please everyone and a lack of time to take care of yourself can lead to problems such as anxiety, depression, insomnia, and other stress-related health problems. The internal pressure to always be the good guy can deplete emotional and physical resources, resulting in a general state of exhaustion and burnout. To mitigate these negative consequences, it is crucial that the good kid begins to recognize and value his own needs and desires. Developing assertiveness skills and learning to say no in a healthy and respectful way are essential steps. Seeking professional support, such as therapy, can be extremely helpful in developing effective coping strategies and building a more balanced and autonomous self-image. In short, the negative consequences of good boy behavior are numerous and profound, affecting both emotional and physical health, as well as compromising the quality of relationships. Addressing these behavioral patterns consciously and proactively is essential to building a more balanced, satisfying, and authentic life. Number 8. Self-knowledge and limits. Developing deep self-knowledge and establishing clear priorities and limits are essential to avoid unbalanced relationships and to focus on your own well-being. Knowing yourself involves a conscious and ongoing exploration of your own values, desires, needs, and limitations. This process of self-knowledge allows the person to truly understand what is important to them, what makes them happy, and what they need to feel fulfilled. Establishing priorities based on this self-knowledge is crucial. By understanding what's most important in your life, whether it's your health, career, family, or hobbies, you can allocate your time and energy more effectively. Prioritizing your own needs is not a selfish act, but a necessary practice to ensure you have the emotional and physical resources to support yourself and, consequently, be available to others in a healthy way. The ability to set limits is equally essential. Healthy boundaries allow you to protect yourself from being taken advantage of and burning out. They help maintain a balance between giving and receiving, ensuring that your own needs are not constantly sacrificed for the desires of others. Setting limits involves learning to say no assertively and without guilt, and clearly communicating your needs and expectations to others. This may include limits on time, personal space, emotional energy, and responsibilities. Additionally, boundaries help build more respectful and balanced relationships. When you set and maintain your boundaries, you teach others how you would like to be treated. This can prevent people from taking your generosity for granted and helps keep you from feeling overwhelmed or underappreciated. Healthy relationships are based on mutual respect, where both parties recognize and honor each other's limits and needs. Focusing on your own well-being is a natural consequence of self-knowledge and setting limits. When you are in tune with your own needs and priorities, you can make decisions that promote your physical, mental, and emotional health. This includes regular self-care practices such as exercise, healthy eating, adequate rest time, and activities that bring you joy and satisfaction. It may also involve seeking support when needed, whether through friends, family, or mental health professionals. Ultimately, self-knowledge and boundaries not only improve your quality of life, but also strengthen your interpersonal relationships. You become more resilient, self-confident, and able to face challenges in a healthy way. Your interactions with others become more authentic and satisfying because they are based on a clear understanding of who you are and what you need to thrive. Therefore, investing in self-knowledge and setting limits is essential to creating a balanced and rewarding life. This allows you to maintain control over your own life, avoid being taken advantage of, and build relationships that truly reflect and respect your true essence. Number 9. Avoid manipulation. Recognizing and avoiding manipulative people is a crucial skill for protecting your own emotional and mental integrity. Often, manipulative people seek to take advantage of the generosity and kindness of others, exploiting their willingness to help and sacrifice. To avoid falling into this type of trap, it is essential to be aware of signs of manipulation and establish firm, healthy limits. One of the best ways to avoid manipulation is to be clear and assertive about your own needs and limits. This means communicating directly and unequivocally what you are willing to do and what you are not, without giving in to pressure or attempts at control by others. It's important to remember that saying no is not selfish, but rather an act of self-defense and self-care. Additionally, being aware of the signs of manipulation can help you identify people who may not have your best intentions in mind. This includes behaviors such as excessive praise followed by demands, attempts to make you feel guilty for not meeting their demands, and emotional manipulation to get what they want. Watch for patterns of manipulative behavior and trust your instincts if something seems out of place. By recognizing and avoiding manipulative people, you protect your own emotional and mental health by ensuring that your interactions are based on mutual respect and genuine reciprocity. Don't let others take advantage of your kindness and willingness to help. By setting clear boundaries and being assertive about your needs, you position yourself firmly and confidently, ensuring that your relationships are healthy, balanced, and genuinely fulfilling. Number 10. Stoic balance. In search of balance, the Stoics remind us of the importance of finding the middle point between being kind and assertive with our own desires and limits. For them, the heart of the matter is not just what happens to us, but how we interpret and face each situation that presents itself in our lives. Maintaining a Stoic posture implies cultivating serenity and courage in the face of life's challenges and circumstances. It means recognizing that we can't control all the things that happen around us, but we can control how we respond to them. This philosophy encourages us not to let ourselves be carried away by impulsive emotions or external demands, but rather to cultivate an inner tranquility that allows us to remain firm in our values and principles. Seeking this balance involves being kind and compassionate toward others, but also not allowing our kindness to be exploited or abused. It means being clear and assertive about our own wants and needs, without compromising our values or commitments to ourselves. Ultimately, Stoic balance invites us to find a harmony between generosity and self-defense, between compassion and assertiveness. It means being kind, but also firm, compassionate, but also respectful of yourself. By adopting this approach, we can live according to our highest principles while remaining resilient in the face of life's vicissitudes.